This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I am your host. I am your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. The X-Zone is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, across Europe on Euro Radio TV and Radio X, as well as on our good friends at iHeartRadio. If you'd like to send me an email, X-Zone at XZoneRadioTV.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. Now, to check out who, what, when, where, why about the X-Zone Radio Show, visit www.XZoneRadioTV.com, and for all the great programming we have available for you 7/24, 365 on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. My guest this hour is Carole Davis. She has over 35 years of international experience in Vedic astrology and currently operates a business consulting practice in both Kelowna and Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Carole's interest in this illuminating science called the Science of Light began at the age of 20 when she made a journey overland through the Middle East to India. Now, while there, she began studying Eastern philosophy and spirituality. During this time, she witnessed firsthand the power of Vedic astrology to accurately explain and predict the events in a person's life. Carole continues to study the teachings and spirituality of the ancient Vedics and some of the world's greatest practitioners of Vedic astrology. She also attends and contributes to many North American conferences and workshops on astrology, both Western and Vedic. Joining us from British Columbia, Canada, is Carole Davis. And Carole, welcome to the X-Zone.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You know, we were on a station in Kelowna for a number of years, but they went from AM to FM, all music. And a very good friend of mine, Bill Peckham, lives in Kelowna, so the people of Kelowna and Kelowna are very close to us here in the X-Zone. So what was it, what was it that intrigued you to such a degree in India when you saw Vedic astrology that you decided that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I was 15 when I first started studying astrology, but that was Western astrology. And, of course, that's all we had back then, way back then. And when I got to India, it was like, it was highly predictive. It tells you your past, your present, your future. It just gives you answers that sometimes with Western, I found that I couldn't find the answers. Western is excellent for psychological, what's going on, who you are, your personality, those sorts of things. Mm-hmm. It's also predictive for sure. But Vedic seemed to be just so predictive, like scary predictive, if that makes any sense. So that's where I got really interested in it. And then I got interested in the whole, Eastern, philosophy,
Right.
which is really ancient. It's like Vedic astrology is 6,000 years old. It's the first astrology that existed, and all astrologies come from the Vedic astrology. It comes from the Ayurvedic, like from the Vedas. I don't know if you know anything about the Vedas, but it's all written in Sanskrit. But it's Veda, like Vedic means Veda, which means knowledge, right? So the Vedas are the oldest texts in the world, and they're all written in Sanskrit. And now they've been, a lot of it has been translated into English. And so basically, it's kind of a historical writings of the Vedas. They, record an intellectually and spiritually advanced culture going back over 6,000 years ago. So it's called the science of light. It brings light into your life.
The science of light. Now, Carole, you and I have to take our first commercial break. Please stand by. Exonation, our guest this hour is Carole Davis in Kelowna and Vancouver, British Columbia. Her website is CaroleDavisAstrology.com. That's CaroleDavisastrology.com. And Carole and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. For all the programming available to you, 724-365 on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Welcome back, everyone. Carole Davis is our guest this hour, www.caroledavisastrology.com. Now, Carole holds a master's in both hypnotherapy and counseling. For many years, she had a private counseling practice and has worked extensively with children with behavior and learning problems. She has recently authored a book based on her experience as she accompanied and guided her terminally ill mom to her death. Vedic astrology has always been Carole's passion because it leads one to understand why things have happened and continue to happen in one's life. And Carole, how would you describe Vedic astrology to somebody who may be hearing about this for the very first time?
Okay, well, it's basically Vedic astrology, which I had said earlier, is a science of light. Mm-hmm. And it brings light into your life. And it's basically what it is. It's an interpretation of the energies of the planets that emit magnetic and electric fields, which influences the lives of all living beings on this planet. So basically, a person's chart, which is your birth time, birthplace, and birth date, is calculated mathematically. It's a snapshot of the solar system and the heavens at the moment of birth. And basically, you're very unique. That planets change every 15 seconds. So you're extremely unique, and your longitude, latitude is important, which means the city that you were born. It becomes a very unique and valuable map of who you are and what you will experience in your life.
Where did the knowledge of Vedic astrology come from? Like, I understand that it is a very old form of astrology, if not one of the original forms of astrology, but where did the knowledge come from that astrologers have been using? They were in a time when there were no telescopes. They had very limited knowledge, and yet here they've come up with a parascience that is so exact. How did that happen?
Well, they were they were the old spirit. They were a highly evolved spiritual sect, a group of people, and it was ancient India. I mean, pre-India today. It was before the different religions that exist there today. And basically, all that they used were the planets that they could see. They didn't use Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or they only followed the planets that they could see. So, but it's incredible. In Western astrology, it uses all the outer planets, is what you call them, right? Which is Pluto and Uranus and Neptune. But they didn't need that. And the system was developed by these very highly spiritual group of sages, basically. So, and it's been protected all these years and has never been changed, which is really, really great. Like it's been very, very protected. So it's basically the same as it was, 5,000, 6,000 years ago.
All right, but where did the different classifications or the different templates that are used in astrology come from way back then? For example, different planets at different times in conjunction with other planets mean one thing to one person because of the time they were born, the place they were born, and so on. So
they didn't have time back then, so they never used the time. Okay, they used the placements of the planets, so they knew about placements and how they worked.
Oh, right.
They did another ancient form, which is called the nakshatras, which is part of the Vedic system, but it gets really complicated. And, the Vedas or the nakshatras are very ancient also. So it has, in that respect, changed over the years in terms of adding the time and the location. But the basis, you don't even need the time. You just need the day.
Oh, all right. So, but let me get back to my question.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, where did the knowledge that they use in their astrological charts come from?
That is the mystery, right? They were seers and they were sages that came up with this system that isn't really understood in the same way. Like it's not, it's something today we can do a mathematical equation or whatever, and we have some answers to that. This is a very spiritual, it's not a secret, but it's something that's very mathematical. And many of them were mathematicians also. So they created this system that is very mystical. And it's really about your past lives and your future lives and that sort of thing, right? It's got all of those. So all of those features involved with the study of it. It came from a spiritual group of people. It's not something I consider it a science, and many people consider it a science, but it came from a mystical, spiritual group of very spiritual people.
Aren't people interested in knowing the history, the truth of its evolution, where it evolved from, who the first astrologer was?
Yeah, but I have never seen information like that. I've never found that. It comes from the Vedas, which is an ancient text. There's 8 legs of the Vedas. Mm-hmm. And there's Ayurvedic medicine is one of the legs, and Ayurvedic astrology is another leg, and Sattvic living is a third leg. And those are the ones that we sort of work with, right? Our bodies. Ayurvedic medicine is the science of life, which is your body. Ayurvedic astrology is the science of light, which brings light into your life. And then the living a sattvic life, which means living a pure life. And through that, you will eventually, the whole key for Vedic astrology is about enlightenment. It's about waking up and enlightening yourself and becoming a enlightened being where you don't come back here again. So it's getting off the wheel of birth is what Vedic astrology is really all about. That's how it started. And of course, we, as we've evolved ourselves, we like to know what's going to happen. When am I going to buy a house? When am I going to get married? How many children am I going to have? When am I going to have children? Am I going to have a lot of money? Am I going to win the lottery? I may get all these sorts of questions, right? And you can tell all those sorts of things in a chart.
But what does that tell you? Why? My question is, why would a person have to go to an outside person who uses an ancient algorithm system to find out about their destiny? We are responsible for our own destiny. There is free will. So why would a person go to an astrologer?
Okay, because most of us are lost. When you say we have free will, mm-hmm. Free will comes from, I think we do have free will, except I don't think we really use it. I think that we're quite asleep, and I think that we basically wake up in the morning and go through our day in a rather asleep manner. And so life happens to us instead of us being in control of our life. And, that of course, that's a discussion we could argue all day long about. But what I've observed, and I've done thousands of charts, is that most people don't use their free will. Most people live their destiny. And so they get themselves into messes or into things that happen, bad relationships or whatever, all the different things that we, as you know, on this planet, people get themselves involved in. And then they feel lost. And that's why they would call an astrologer. Or they might be making a decision that's really an important decision. And, in their life, like investing money or purchasing a particular house or all the sort of the major things, buying a house is probably the biggest investment most people make, generally speaking, right?
My wife and I have bought several houses, and we've never gone to an astrologer.
And me too. But that's good. That maybe for you, that's not where you want to go, or you don't need it, or you don't feel the need to have it.
So does it depend on a person's own insecurities and their lack of confidence in themselves that would make them go to an outside source to help them better understand their lives?
No, I've got all sorts of clients that are extremely successful, do extremely well in their lives, are very confident, and have learned that timing is everything. Timing is everything in life, right? And they choose to want to pick the best times, let's say, for different events or different things in their life. You can do a marriage chart and create a really good marriage chart for someone. You can, pick a good time to, go on the stock market or purchase a home or, anything. You can, timing is everything. And the thing is, quite often when people do contact me, quite often, not always, there's all sorts of reasons, like there's a million reasons people contact me, but sometimes people have gone through such a terrible time or such a difficult time, and they're wondering what is happening and when will it end? And those are things that can be answered in Vedic astrology.
Over the years, I found out that the answer to any mystery or any problem that a person is having lies within them. Why don't they search themselves out? Take a look at themselves.
Do. I think people do. But not everybody is. Some people are just really into business, and they're really into the worldly, materialistic world that we exist in today. And that's not where they're not interested in doing that. Everybody has a different path. Like some people are really deeply involved, like meditating. Others are, race car driving, or, everybody's different. That's what makes the world go round.
I understand that, but in today's society, why would we depend on the reading of stars from an ancient spiritual or whatever we want to call this, craft, art, science?
Well, it started 5,000-6,000 years ago, but it still has not changed. It still has the same value that it did then. The planets still exist, and the everything changes. Like the planets never stay the same. Nothing in the universe or in the heavens stay the same. They're always changing. You're born with a particular chart. You're born with a particular personality, and particular events are going to happen to you. And like the woman that you marry or the man you're going to marry is already predestined. And that's something that maybe a lot of people don't believe, and some really believe that. But destiny is a really big part of our existence on this planet. And that's why I was saying to you originally, the free will, yes, it exists, but we don't use it. We generally go through our lives pretty much asleep. And that's when you're saying go inside. When you start going inside, you do start to wake up, right?
Well, I guess
but not everybody is on that journey at this time. Everybody is on a different journey. for different reasons, different evolutionary reasons. Some are more advanced. I don't want to say advanced because some people, it's just some people are more spiritual than others.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, and my God, I guess I've been awake all my life. www.xzbn.net is the network. www.xzoneradiotv.com. We'll be back on the other side of this news break with Carole Davis. Don't go away.
Dreams are our personal gateways into infinite wisdom. Don't miss shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Corcoran's inspiring book, Shamanic Awakening Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles Sandra's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers and her initiations throughout the Americas and across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt. Sandy's knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth influenced her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private tarot readings, international journeys, a meditative CD, as well as her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate this earth walk, creating a deeper connection to yourself and all that is. Find this and more at Sandy's website, starwalkervisions.com.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. For the past 26 years doing the show, it's the same website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. And for our broadcast network, xzbn.net. Carole Davis is our guest, www.caroledavisastrology.com. And Carole is in both Kelowna and Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada. Now, how long does it take a person to learn Vedic astrology?
Years. I'm still learning it. I just finished getting my master's in it. It's you never know it, I don't think. At least that's how I feel. I think I'm proficient in it, but there's always more to learn. It is a huge body of work. And, I'll never stop studying. I study every day.
And where do you've said that you've received your master's in Vedic astrology. Who granted you this degree?
It's in Texas, and it is a master Vedic astrologer who has a university there, and so I'm working with her.
Okay.
And so I've just about completed it. I just have one more exam left, and then I'm done. But I've been doing it for a few years with her. But I was going to say, have you ever had your astrological chart done?
Yes, I have, by many people, and they've all been different. I have found no continuity in any chart that I've ever had.
Are they all the Vedic? You've done the Vedic?
Done the Vedic, done the Western.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like psychic readings. Over the 26 years doing this show, I've had many psychic readings. None of them have ever turned into fruition. I'm a person who is very hard-headed. That's why I'm a journalist. I'm a former police officer doing criminal investigations. I am who I am, and I believe that everyone can fulfill every dream. In my opinion, the only difference between a dream and reality is just doing it. There's no such thing as I can't. And when somebody falls off a horse, or if somebody has a failure, it's not a failure. It's a lesson towards success. That's who I am.
Well, and I love that attitude, and I agree with you on one level for sure. But in general, again, it doesn't happen to everyone that way. It just doesn't.
Why not?
Some people want something. Well, I work with people over the years with counseling that they wanted a really good relationship, and they worked so hard at it, and they really wanted it, never got it. So, I mean, you can want something, but sometimes these things that you want so much, and you want a whole bunch of money, you want millions of dollars, you can work.
Oh, well, wait a sec. Let's be realistic.
You don't always get it. But I'm just saying, you were saying that whatever you want, you can get. Well, I wish that were true.
Within reason. Come on, if somebody, it's just these people who believe that if they put a Ferrari on their fridge, or the house of their dreams on the fridge, that one day miraculously it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. You've got to work for it.
Exactly.
And if
I agree with you.
If somebody wants $1 million, if they work hard enough, they'll have it. They have to do the work. And I think in today's society, people are lazy. They want the fast fix. Nobody wants the pain and the gain, and nobody wants to put any sweat into anything that is worthwhile.
In some cases, that's, I'm sure, very true. And in some cases, it's not. It's everybody, I think that everybody is doing the best in their own capacity that they can.
Yes.
Like I really do. And I guess I just don't sort of see it that way. I see everybody is in the perfect situation where they are growing and evolving. And it's just a matter of evolution, and everything it really is in its most bizarre way quite perfect. And that's kind of how I see things.
All right, you've kind of lost me. Explain that.
Well, Because well, like I said, I've counseled a lot of people, and plus Vedic astrology is that it is highly predictive, and you can see the personality of that person. You can see a criminal. You can see someone who's got criminal tendencies. You can see someone who's highly spiritual. You can see someone who's a multimillionaire. I work with people all over the world, so I don't ever even see them. I don't see their face. I don't know what they look like. I don't know anything about them. And I start in right away, as long as I know they've got the right time and what I think is a perfect chart. It's so simple to tell them all about themselves and their past and the type of mother they had, the type of father they had, their childhood, what type of career they have.
Right.
It's not something that's that difficult to do if you know your stuff, if you study. And so in a way, like, how does that happen? Like, it always blows me away. Like, I think about Vedic astrology and I think about, okay, free will. I think about everything you've been asking me. And I keep seeing people living their charts. They just keep living their charts. And then I start thinking about how the world is a tapestry. It's a big tapestry. All the people on this planet, we're all connected on some level, right? In some way. We're born in pods where we're interconnecting and having all these things happen to us, with each other. And how could it not be perfect? And how could you all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm going to break free of my chart and I'm going to go over here and be this? Because then all of a sudden there's a hole in that tapestry. And I often think about even going to a restaurant. Am I actually picking that restaurant, or am I part of some unseen thing to help that person be successful in their restaurant? Like, I've thought this through so much, and it's all it's overwhelming, and yet it's really wonderful, and yet it's, there's so many ways you can look at it. So I think people are in the dark mostly in their lives. I think people really struggle. Nobody knows what they're doing half the time, where they're going. Sometimes say, hey, things are really working, and then they're not. And sometimes people are banging their head against a brick wall, until finally it hurts enough, they turn around and they go a different direction. I think we're all,
all right, but if they go in a different direction, isn't that proof of free will?
Yeah, well, maybe. And
because what you were saying,
somebody just taps them on the back, and they don't even know what's tapping on the back to turn around.
What you were saying was that a person is banging their head up against the wall, and then they decide to change. If once they make that decision to change, free will has been implemented, because they did not have to make that change.
Okay, yeah, or maybe something helped them change too, right? It's all a mystery. It really is a mystery. I mean, life is a big mystery. And I mean, you sound like you've got you very know where you're going and what you're doing, but lots of people don't. But it doesn't make them lesser or anything. It's just maybe not as easy for some as it is for others.
Isn't that a sign of weakness?
No.
What is it a sign of then? Then what's it a sign of? Insecurity?
Well, I think some people have a really strong destiny. It's really clear, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got clients that they were going to be a doctor at 3, and they are a doctor now, and now they're, they're a specialist. And they know exactly where they're going at 3 years old.
Yeah, I was the same.
There you go. And you are on a path, and you've got your destiny, and it's like you're following it to a T. That's great. Other people, it's not so clear. And so, some charts are meant to have 4 and 5 different careers, but that's always disturbing. Like, there's nothing better than knowing where you're going every day and getting up in the morning and know where you're going, right?
Yeah, but
that's pretty. There's a safety to that, but not everybody has that type of safe life.
But if the person, listen, there were 3 things I wanted to be when I was a kid. I wanted to be a rock and roll player, I wanted to be a cop, and I wanted to be in broadcasting, and I've done all 3. During my path, there have been challenges, and I have never backed down from a challenge. I have met every challenge head on. So, so why can't other people do that instead of seeking outside help from astrology or psychics or mediums or channels?
Well, because I think that you've got a very strong if I did your chart, I'd probably see a very strong personality, a strong direction in your chart. Other people, you know, I mean, let's face it, some people are born in really violent homes, and they're small children, and they're treated awful, and they grow up. I mean, where was the foundation? Where was anything given to these people?
I will agree with you there, because I come from a very, very grounded family. My family has a history of being very grounded.
That's right. So many people, you know, because of their karma, because of whatever they had to learn, aren't from that background, and so they don't have anything to hang on to, like you know, good family, good strong background. There's so many reasons, and I just believe in being really compassionate and empathetic.
Yeah, but why would they not go to a psychologist or a career counselor or a marriage counselor? An astrologer? Why that?
Well, I'm sure some of them do go to counselors. I think it's because of the unknown. You know, many people, I mean, you're on this planet, right? And it's screaming through the universe. It's turning at a ridiculous pace.
Yeah.
You're just flying through this cosmos on this planet. And can you really say you know where you're going, or, you know, I mean, who you are?
I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly where I'm going. I always have.
At this moment, until maybe something, and I don't want to text you. I don't need to do that. But, you know, sometimes people can be going, I mean, I've worked with people who are super successful. Just their lives were flying, and then some tragedy happened.
Hey, that's happened to me, but I've always been able to have the constitution and the ability to face that challenge and work it out and get back on the route. Like, it's only a little detour.
You're one of the rare people that has this inner strength that many people are still developing.
And yet, why is it that the group of people that I know that are close to me are the same? There's nothing unique.
Maybe
there's nothing unique about me. Nothing unique at all.
Well, you're very fortunate, because I've worked with a lot of people, and not everybody can handle tragedy or handle things that really knock them off their feet, right?
Well,
and also, you know.
So I guess. You do a lot of...
But I was going to say this, many people want to know more about who they are, you know?
But that blows my mind, that a person doesn't know who they are. They've created the person that they are.
Well, no, maybe their parents created it, or maybe the past created it, past events. You know, this is so important, like, this is what I've learned in.
All right, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, let's pick it up from this very point.
Sure.
All right, Carole Davis is our special guest, X Zone Nation. Carole Davis Astrology.com. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, home of Relmar McConnell Media Company, and we'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Are you curious? Do you want to learn more about how the world works and have fun at the same time? Study coincidences with me, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on my Connecting with Coincidence radio show, here on the XZBN network. Listen to Jungians theorize, statisticians randomize, true believers evangelize, while I categorize. I dance to the rhythm of coincidences. People who experience me see more of them. Maybe something on the show matches a thought in your mind. Let us know. Expand your mind to the weirdness happening around you. Synchronicity spoken here, there, and everywhere. For more information, put Connecting with Coincidence in your search engine and find my website, my social media sites, and my blog.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A Soul Balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the 4 corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Carole Davis is my guest this hour, X-Zone, www.caroledavisastrology.com. Carole, all right, we were talking about people not knowing themselves, and you said, and rightfully so, that it could be. There are a lot of factors that go into the person. A person is like an onion. You take off one layer at a time, and one layer, and this is what a person is made up to: past, present, and future. Mm-hmm. But how is it possible that a person does not know themselves? This blows my mind.
Well, they know themselves to a degree, but then do you ever, you get, okay. What I was going to say is that we're a collection from very small children, from birth, even while in the womb. We're a collection of our parents' thoughts, their belief systems, their values, their traditions, etc. We are one big collection, from your minister to your teachers to school. We are a collection of everybody else's belief system, right?
Yes.
But that's all your karma too, remember. So it's like, it's a complicated, complex, we're very complicated. We're very complex humans. We're not just, one-dimensional. So you've got all of these things that have affected you. And then as you grow older and you become an adult, you think that this is, I believe this and I believe that, and I don't believe this and I don't believe that. And you believe that they're yours. You believe those thoughts are yours when they're really not. They just work.
Well,
so
wait a sec.
Belief systems that you believe work for you.
So whose thoughts are these if they're not mine?
They were given to you. Most everything that you believe and think come and it's like sifting through what sounds right, what doesn't sound right. But they all come from your early childhood. And then you become, and also past lives. I mean, you can come with a very strong personality or a weak personality. Everything, you're a continuation. Like, you are eons old. You are not just, I don't know how old you are, 50, 40, whatever you are. You're ancient. And you go, but I mean, people have to like sort of maybe, think about reincarnation in that fact. If you don't believe in anything like that, then that sounds like a bunch of hooey. But it's like you're an ancient being with so many factors that are driving you and that are unconscious, on the unconscious level. They're not on the conscious level, they're on the unconscious level. The unconscious mind beats your heart, it helps you, digest your food, it collects 27,000 things per second, and your conscious mind collects 2 to 7 things per second. So imagine what you've collected over just the short years you've been on this planet in your unconscious mind.
So,
positive or negative.
You're saying that we're several thousand years old. How do you know this?
Millions.
How do you know this?
Because it's just because I've gotten into past lives. I've gotten into those sorts of things for years with hypnotherapy, but not only that, through astrology, you can see people's past lives. You can, but that's something that I try to keep it more to now, because Vedic astrology is a science. It's not it's not airy-fairy. It's mystical, and it's got it always blows me away. Like, I'm always so surprised at how accurate it is. And I'll never stop being surprised because it just is amazing. And but it's something that I don't want to convince anybody of it. I mean, they can either try it and get their chart done and see what they feel or not. I'm just here. And
would you say that it's a matter of belief, that it's either if you believe in it, and if you believe in the possibilities that this form of divination might help me to better understand myself and help me into the proper direction of my future, will help me, that this is part of astrology as well?
Not a belief system. It's a study. It's 100% study. It's not psychic. There's no belief system behind. I mean, I guess I can believe in astrology. That would be my personal belief system. But the actual science of astrology is mathematical. It's totally mathematical. It's not. It's not. My belief system isn't attached to it. Mm-hmm. It has to be studied technically. It's a technical thing, and Mercury means a particular thing, and the degrees and all those sorts of things. It's like geometry in a way, right? So there's so many astrologers out there too that I don't think have studied a lot, and then they call themselves astrologers.
Well, this is another thing.
I think that's a problem, but that's like probably any you can find someone who's highly educated and still not be very good at what they do, right?
Well, especially in today's day and age, where anybody with $12 can get a web, get a domain name, and for another $150, get their website posted, and then they pay $35 for every 3 months and get a Skype account and call themselves an astrologer, a medium, whatever.
Yeah, like I take this very seriously, like very, very seriously. I'm just ethical, and I feel strong. That's why I've gone for my master's. That's why I study all the time. And like I said, it's a huge, huge body of knowledge. And I'm not sure you could ever understand it in one lifetime. But
what happens, like I hear people talk about past lives. I hear people talk about, reincarnation. But when push comes to shove, where's the proof?
I think it's a personal thing, right? And I don't go in, okay, if you had a session with me, I wouldn't be talking about you. People say, well, my past lives. I generally say, I don't really go into the past lives of people. Now, when I do hypnotherapy, people can go into those, but that's kind of, I don't take them there. It's an evolutionary thing and where they go. That's all about where they want to go. But with Vedic astrology, it's basically when you're born, it's just a continuation of where you left off. That's all. That's all it is. And I prefer to work on, this life and now and, and the future. And I mean, I can go into the person's past also in this life too. But I feel that Vedic astrology is helpful. It helps people understand, an example. I've, done many women's charts over the years, and I'll see immediately that they lost a child. They don't tell me, I tell them. And they say, yeah, I did. And I told them, basically that it's in your chart. And, it helps people to resolve something, because we don't understand why a child would die. What a terrible thing to happen to anybody. To lose a child is just like devastating.
Well, of course it is. To lose
and then you blame yourself, and you think of all these things, like, what did I do wrong? And that people just beat themselves up so much. And what I like in Vedic astrology is when I can tell them, I saw this. You didn't tell me. I'm not saying that it makes it better. How could anything make that better? But
so let me ask you this. If that same lady would have gone to you prior to the death of her child, could you have told her, and could it have been predicted and prevented?
I wouldn't do that.
Why not?
There's just some things I wouldn't do.
Is that because you can't or because you won't?
Because I won't.
But if you can save a life and save this lady from all the grief and turmoil that the death of her child has put her through.
But the thing is, I don't think I could save a life. I wouldn't. It wouldn't be. It's not about saving a life or otherwise. It's not like I could save a life, because it's beyond my.
But if you were to say to this lady, based on your chart, there is a possibility that at a certain time, I can see a time when your child will be in grave danger. And if she...
Oh, yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I've said that. But yeah, I've done that. But I would never say the child is going to pass away, or I just don't do that. I just would not.
Okay, so what I'm getting now is that...
It's not my place to do that. Mm-hmm.
So what I'm understanding now is that if you did foresee something drastic and you felt that by giving this information to the person that this grief, this tremendous tragedy in her life could be avoided, then you would give them a way to...
But I don't think I'm not saying it can be avoided. You're thinking it can be avoided.
Of course it can.
It's not, I will say, I've said, like your child, you've got to really watch your kids right now at this time frame, those sorts of things. But I'm not going to say, I wouldn't say to them, oh, well, they could die. I wouldn't do that, because I don't put that kind of fear into people. I think that would be, I don't want to make people afraid of their life of living, right?
All right, you tell somebody that based on their chart that you can see them doing something, whatever it is. Let's say a career. They leave your office, or they get off Skype with you, or they, however you do it, and they say, you know what? I really don't want to do that. I'm going to do something else. Isn't that proof of free will?
Well, yeah, but that's a what if, or that's something that I can't control.
All right, listen, we've
run
out of.
And do they?
All right, listen, we've run out of time. I want to thank you very much for joining us. Well, there you go, Exo Nation. You be the judge. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Vedic astrology on a scale of 1 to 10 in my books, -16. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.